The stars shone bright in the evening sky, a canopy of twinkling lights that seemed to whisper secrets to the sleepy town of Willow Creek. It was a night like any other, the kind of night that made a man want to sit back, puff on his pipe, and contemplate the mysteries of the universe. But for John, a lanky astronomer with a passion for the unknown, this night was different. He stood outside his observatory, a converted barn on the outskirts of town, gazing up at the stars with an intensity that bordered on reverence. His eyes, a deep shade of brown, seemed to bore into the celestial map, searching for something or someone. Suddenly, a faint hum, like the distant thrum of a harp string, pierced the silence. The stars seemed to shiver, and for an instant, John felt as if he were one with the cosmos. The hum grew louder, taking on a melodic quality that sent shivers down his spine. It was a sound he had never heard before, yet somehow he knew it. The hum ceased as abruptly as it began, leaving behind an unsettling stillness. John's eyes, still fixed on the stars, felt heavy, as if weighted down by the secrets he sensed lurking just beyond human comprehension. He took a deep breath, the night air filling his lungs, and slowly turned to re-enter his observatory. As he stepped inside, a faint, flickering light caught his attention. His telescope, usually a steadfast companion, now seemed to loom over him, its metal body etched with an otherworldly glow. The light pulsed, like a gentle heartbeat, and John felt an inexplicable sense of trepidation. The pulsing light seemed to seep into his very being, filling him with a sense of wonder and unease. John's hand, as if of its own accord, reached out to touch the telescope's gleaming surface. The metal felt cool beneath his fingertips, yet seemed to vibrate with an energy he couldn't quite understand. Suddenly, the observatory was bathed in a soft, ethereal radiance. The light, now a shimmering fog, enveloped John, and he felt himself being drawn into the telescope's depths. Stars and galaxies blurred together in a mad dance, and he felt the cosmos unfolding before him like a tapestry of infinite complexity. In the heart of this kaleidoscope, a figure began to take shape. It was a woman, her features indistinct, yet radiating an aura of gentle kindness. Her eyes, like two silver moons, locked onto John's, and he felt a sense of deep connection, as if their souls had touched across the vast expanse of space. The woman's lips, a tender smile playing upon them, parted, and John felt a whispered message echo through his mind. "We have been waiting." The words, barely audible, sent shivers down his spine as the vision began to fade, leaving behind only the faint scent of starlight and the echoes of a melody that seemed to resonate deep within his very being. John stumbled backward, his mind reeling from the experience. The telescope, once again, stood silent and still, its metal surface gleaming in the faint light of the observatory. The stars outside, now mere pinpricks in the sky, seemed distant and remote. Yet John knew that something fundamental had shifted, and he was no longer alone in the universe. The silence that followed was oppressive, heavy with the weight of unspoken secrets. John's mind raced, trying to process the vision that had just unfolded before him. The woman's message, whispered on the solar wind, still resonated within him, echoing through every fiber of his being. He turned to the telescope, his eyes locked on the instrument as if it held the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. The metal, once cold and unyielding, now seemed to pulsate with a life of its own, as if it had become a gateway to the stars themselves. John's hand, as if drawn by an unseen force, reached out to grasp the telescope's eyepiece. As his fingers closed around it, the room began to blur, and he felt himself being pulled into a realm beyond the reaches of human understanding. Stars and galaxies whirled around him, a mad dance of light and color that defied comprehension. John's consciousness expanded, embracing the vastness of the cosmos, and he knew, in that instant, that he was no longer a solitary observer, but a participant in the grand tapestry of existence. The vision, a kaleidoscope of sound and light, peaked, and John felt himself hurtling through the void, a fragile, insignificant speck, yet somehow cosmically connected to the very fabric of the universe. As suddenly as it had begun, the vision ceased. John stumbled backward, gasping for air, his mind reeling from the experience. The observatory, once a sanctuary of rational thought, now seemed a fragile terrestrial anchor moored to the terrestrial realm. The telescope, silent and still, stood as a testament to the mysteries that lurked beyond the reaches of human understanding. John's eyes, still aglow with the celestial fire, locked onto the instrument, and he knew that his life and the universe would never be the same again. The night air was heavy with an unspoken presence, as if the stars themselves were watching John, waiting for his next move. He stood frozen, his mind still reeling from the vision, as the silence stretched out like a thin, precarious thread. Suddenly, the darkness outside the observatory seemed to coalesce into a figure, a tall, imposing form that materialized on the threshold of the room. John's heart skipped a beat as the figure stepped forward, its features resolving into those of a man, with eyes that burned like embers in the dark. "Who are you?" John whispered, his voice barely audible. The stranger's gaze, like a gentle breeze, washed over John, and he felt a sense of recognition, as if he had stumbled upon a long-forgotten friend. The man's eyes, like two stars in the velvet expanse, seemed to hold a deep, ancient wisdom. "I am a messenger," the stranger replied, his voice like a melody carried on the solar wind, "a herald of the cosmic tide." John's mind raced, trying to grasp the significance of the stranger's words. "What do you want from me?" he asked, his voice still barely above a whisper. The stranger's eyes seemed to bore deeper, as if searching for something hidden within John's soul. "You have been chosen," he said, his voice dripping with an otherworldly authority. "Chosen to be a vessel for the cosmic message, a messenger of the stars." John's mind reeled, struggling to comprehend the magnitude of the stranger's words. The room seemed to spin, and the stars outside, like a chorus of celestial voices, whispered secrets in his ear. As the stranger's words echoed through his mind, John felt the fabric of reality begin to unravel, revealing a hidden tapestry of interconnected threads, weaving the cosmos into a grand, interconnected whole. And in that instant, he knew that his life and the destiny of humanity would never be the same again. The stranger's words hung in the air like a challenge, a gauntlet thrown down to John's very existence. As he gazed into the stranger's eyes, he felt the weight of the cosmos settle upon his shoulders, the burden of a responsibility that transcended mortal comprehension. "I am not worthy," John whispered, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and awe. The stranger's gaze, like a gentle breeze, soothed John's soul. "Worthy or not, the choice has been made. You have been chosen to be the vessel, the conduit through which the cosmic message will flow." John's mind reeled, trying to grasp the enormity of the task. "What message?" he asked, his voice barely audible. The stranger's eyes seemed to blaze with an inner light, as if the stars themselves were shining through. "The message of unity, of oneness with the cosmos. The message that will awaken humanity to its true potential, to its place within the grand tapestry of existence." As the stranger spoke, the room began to fade, replaced by a vision of the earth, a fragile jewel suspended in the blackness of space. John saw the threads of connection, the hidden patterns that wove humanity into the fabric of the universe. "I am not prepared," John whispered, his heart heavy with the weight of the task. The stranger's hand, like a gentle breeze, touched John's shoulder. "You will be. The cosmos will guide you, will speak through you. You will be the voice of the stars, the messenger of the cosmic tide." And with that, the stranger vanished, leaving John alone in the observatory, the weight of the task settling upon him like a mantle of responsibility. The stars, once distant and remote, now seemed to whisper secrets in his ear, guiding him towards a destiny that would change the course of human history forever.